So a reminder of how we do these questions. So if you kind of look back on the page before, we had this right here that showed us how to go from all of the different units that we might have. And this will always be available for you. So that's a good start. But just as a reminder, and if I were to take this right here, we would always have, atoms or molecules, and we could convert that to moles. Moles are always in the middle, and we use mass right here, which would be in grams. So we're using Avogadro's number here as our key, and then going back and forth here, we're using numbers from the periodic table. So Avogadro's number and periodic table. All right, so that's how we go back and forth, and we know how to calculate the molar mass, which is helpful. So let's just start here with number one. So number one right here, it says how many atoms, and atoms right there, come from 0.8 moles. So we're going right here. So again, we're using Avogadro's number, 0.800 moles of atoms, moles of helium atoms to be specific. So then I would put, since it's moles here, I'd say, well, 1 mole I know of helium equals 6.02 times 10 to the 23rd, in this case, atoms. So the label right here would be atoms, okay? Kind of running out of room here, but that's okay. Again, the way I would do this on my calculator, just as a reminder, the way I would type this in to start off would be 0.800. That's pretty easy. And then I'm going to multiply this, since it's in the numerator, by Avogadro's number. So just as a reminder, if I can kind of zoom out here, when I do that, I know this isn't always perfect, when I do that, I'm going to put 6.02 second. I'm going to hit the second button right here, and then the EE to the 23rd power, okay? That's how I would do that, all right? And I just realized I hit divide. I should have been hitting multiply. Good catch there. And so I'll change that right there, and then I hit enter, and I get a 4 point, so I'm going to write that down. But now as I look at this here, though, 4.816. Those are 4 sig figs right there. And I was given 3 sig figs right here, 1, 2, 3. So I would want to round this then to 4.82 times 10 to the 23rd. And again, those are atoms. So that's what I would put right there. I'll zoom in a little better there because it's hard to see all this going on. So that's what I would have so far, okay? Let's then say, okay, what is the mass of this? So now that we have, we've taken how many atoms come from moles, right? We're now going to say what's the mass that come from the same amount of moles, the exact same amount. So we could just put 0.80, and that's moles of helium, still same thing. And I want to multiply it. Well, again, if there's moles on top, I'm going to put moles on bottom, and I know that 1 mole of helium, I can just grab that from the periodic table, and it's right there, 4.003. Well, I'm just going to round that to 4.00, and that's in grams. Now, I've canceled out moles and moles, just like up here, I canceled out moles and moles, and I was left with atoms. Same thing here. I'm just going to take, this is a lot easier than the last one, I'm going to take 0.800, and I'm going to multiply it by 4, and that's going to give me 3.2. 3.2. And remember, even though there are 1, 2, 3 sig figs here, and this right here is infinite sig figs because it's conversion, just like this is a conversion. Just a quick reminder on that. We always use what we're given. So the 3.2, we would technically want to put 3.20, 3 sig figs, 3 sig figs. What's the label of this? What we're left with, grams of helium, okay? So grams of helium right there. That's sort of a starting point for you here. Now, let's just try one more here, and then I'm going to let you give this a try. How many moles of calcium atoms are in? So I'm going to start here, 39.2 grams of calcium. How many moles? So again, I'm starting mass and I'm going to the moles right here. So what I would want to do with this is I'd say, okay, well, I know from the periodic table there are grams of Ca, and that equals 1 mole. Whatever I grab from the periodic table here, that's always worth 1 mole. Everything on here, no matter what it is, that's telling you it's that many grams per mole. So for example, with calcium right here, calcium would be 40.078. So we're going to call that 40.08, just like that. 40.08. Get it together here. So this is a straight up going from grams to moles. So you can see this is going to be pretty close to 1 because 39.2 divided by 40.08 right there. So then we would say, all right, and that answer would be, like I said, pretty close here. 1 sig fig, 2 sig figs, 3 sig fig. I'm going to stop right there. 0.978 moles of, get out of here, this is calcium, so moles of calcium, just like that. All right, so I want you to give these other ones a try and see how you do. It's pretty much the same thing. If you get lost, always just kind of look at this and know that this is going to be your security blanket. You can always use that right there.